I took a photo here yesterday of this particular area, and there's a photo of my reference there, but I'm going to be painting here on location and doing a plein air painting. So the sun is right at the right position, so I'm going to get started. Yeah, horizon line is low. And the main part here is the pathway with the light coming through. Some large trees on the side. Low bushes. Another large tree. Some overhanging branches. Now, the most important thing here is the path of light coming through there. Get that nice and bright. Edge of the roadway here. Okay, that's all I need. Trees. Sun's coming through here. I'm looking at the actual site now. The photograph is a good reference, but right now I'm looking at the actual sun coming through the branches here. Okay, that's enough to get started. Now, next thing I do is get my water bucket ready. The water. My water bucket ready to go. I put that down on the side. And I got my travel pad here, which is a pad that I have 140-pound watercolor paper on. And this is my palette. This is my Plein Air palette, which is got plenty of colors in there. It's my normal palette I have in the studio, the same colors I have in the studio, but on a portable palette. But plenty of colors. I got plenty of space. So first thing I'll do is take my spray bottle, my palette in a bottle dot sprayer. Sold exclusively on Everett Watercolors. What I do is just got plain water in this one, and I'm going to put wet the palette up a little bit to get the paints a little bit moist. Need some greens and some blues and yellows for the sky, and I'll put a little water here on the palette. Okay. In my brushes, I'm going to have three brushes. I got a 3/4 inch flat brush, and I've got a number 10 round, and a rigger brush. So those are the three brushes I'll be using today to do the painting on. And before I get started, what I want to do is I'm going to take some tape. I'm going to take some tape. Now, this is yeah, just another technique I have here. I'm going to take some tape here, just as old. This is frog tape. It's called frog tape. It's green. They come in different colors, but this is, I happen to like the green color. And I'm going to take off some pieces of tape here, and I'm going to block out just some areas where I want to, you know, not cover up right away, but also this is where the sun's coming in, so I'm going to leave that area right in there. That's where the sun is popping in. And another area might be, I'm going to paint the sky, but that's the area I want to keep. In fact, I may leave that alone. Yeah, I'll leave that alone because I want to put that a special color. And then the other place I can just paint around. I'm not gonna worry about that. But this would be another technique here to take the piece of tape and just cover up spots. There might be another spot over here just to stick, just to have some other, just to have a little balance over here. Got a light here, a light there, but that's just behind. Okay, so that's just a technique I have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sky in, the background sky. So I'm going to mix up some colors here. I'll wet the brush in the bucket, and I'm going to start with yellow lemon. Because the sky is yellow today because of the sunrise. A little bit of yellow deep and some yellow. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start over here in this area, just to wet that area up a little bit, just to get some color in there, because there'll be color coming through those trees. So the sky, I'm going to leave it to be. Not going to put any blue in the sky this morning. It's not a real blue sky yet. We'll cover the paper with a mix. Maybe there's some sky showing up over here behind this tree. Make sure I got paper in there. Go out before. Okay. So I just gives me plenty of yellow. And I'm going to put some yellow down here also on this area, this patch that's coming through the trees. Okay, I kind of let that dry a little bit while set up the next phase. All right, that's drying a little bit there now. What I do now is always when paper's on a vertical position here, it starts to slide a little bit. Of course, the water of it. So I'm going to put some clips here on the corner, keep the paper stable. So having clips on it to keep the paper from moving around and sliding on us. Okay, I think I'll do now. I think that's still drying a little bit, but I think I'll go down here and put a little more. I can put a background color, a list of wash down here in the bottom. So I start with all the initial washes. Get a background color. So down here I'm going to have a little bit of green. So I always like to mix my greens. I'll use some of the greens out of the palette, green number 1, and I'll add a little bit of blue to that. A little bit of ultramarine blue mixed in with that green there. It has to be a little bit darker, so I put a little bit of blue in there. So go down here. I'm going to put this. Just put a color in here to get started. And there's some color here for these low bushes, so I can put just dab a few in there like that, just to get something started. And over here I got some color. So this is kind of blocking in. What I'm doing is blocking in the basic colors to get started. And there's some green over, a lot of greenery over here. So again, it's just a base coat, very light. It's a light green. It'll be much darker when I finish up, but right now it's just to get a start. And also testing the wetness of the paper here with the yellow in there to see if it's going to make any difference. When right now it doesn't make much difference at all. Okay, and now right here the green, and this foreground, the roadway, I'm going to put a little bit of color in there just to get that, just to fill in the colors. So I'll start with a little bit of gray. I'm going to use ultramarine blue. My favorite gray mixture is ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I mean, that gives me gray every time, because the ultramarine and burnt sienna are pretty good complementary colors, and when they mix, they make a nice gray. And I can make it go brown, or I can make it go blue. It just depends on how much color I put in there of each one. I'm gonna get that a little bit grayer, so I'll mix a little more blue in there. That's more it neutralizes those colors. Okay. Then I'll go down here now. I want to get that gray. This is the roadway, so I'm going to put a little, and remember, watercolor dries a lot lighter, so it may look dark. It may look dark when you put it down like this while it's wet, but when it dries, it'd be much lighter. And if you put your first wash in, if you want to get it dark, you have to put a lot of paint in there. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and add another layer on top of that, which I'm going to do anyway. But here, I just want to get started. Just put the base coat in there. And I may not change this at all. If it's light, it'll dry lighter, and it's a light foreground anyway, so I may just leave that alone the way it is. And I like to leave the colors in my palette, so if I want to go back and add more color somewhere, like up here on the side, I cover the edge of my papers here, just to give me a nice clean look. Okay, that's the block end right there. That's the block end. Just get the bushes. I haven't put the trees in yet and so forth. That's detail, and then get a little bit of foreground going on here. Now you see here the colors bleeding down. Well, there's going to be a shadow down there anyway, so I don't care about that. Let's let it happen. Okay. There's going to be a shadow coming down here on the tree, on the roadway. So this will be darker in here anyway. This area in here. Okay, let's see. All right. Let that dry. Now let me think about I think what I'll do is start putting in some of the trees. Okay, next up I'm going to put in some of the trees just to get the major trunks in there and so forth, to establish those. So it's not completely dry, but it's dry enough to get something started here. So I'm going to mix up a little dark color. I guess I'll use this, mix another color. I want to keep my colors separate so I can go back into them if I need them for any kind of touch up. So here I mixed up a little bit of burnt sienna mixed in with that ultramarine blue. I want a dark brownish color for the trunks. I get those as dark as I want, but with the sun coming in there, everything is silhouetted. So I'll start off here with this tree on the right here. I've got a trunk coming down here, so I'll start here with this. That's a nice large tree. Going in, there's a lot of bushes around that, so we'll put that in there like that. And it goes right on up. We'll establish that tree right there. And there's a couple more in the background. So what I'll do here is take the color and I'll go in. This will be covered up a little bit. I'll put leaves over top of this anyway, so we're just going to have just an indication that there's something else back here showing partial. And there's a third tree. I'm going to put this one in too. There's a third big one over here. So that way, you know, I like to work in thirds as far as elements. Over here is 3 trees on the right. So I'm going to use, there's more, but I'm going to use 3 trees here basically. This is the much larger tree over here, larger trunk, and it comes down a little bit more. And it has a branch that comes over. Trying to make them look a little different so they're not all the same. Might bring this down just a little bit. Okay. All right, no branches in there, but I'm going to leave that open for a while. Just want to establish the tree locations. Okay, just get working on the composition. And over here, I want to get this other. This is a big tree here. We'll work down here. This big one on the right, I'll make that a little bit larger. Let's see. That's a nice big old tree. But this one, I got 3 here. I'm going to put a single one over here because it's all, you know, mostly branches and so forth. So I'm going to make this side of the painting a little bit different than the other side. You know, not just for variety, number one, but also the composition. If you notice here from my reference here, I got I got a couple trees over, 3 trees over here, and 1 big tree over here, and that kind of gives you a variety of trees, not repetition. And this tree over here is a little bit larger, and I could always make that larger as I paint in the detail. And that comes down here. Let's see, it comes down almost to the bottom here, like that. Okay. All right. So basically blocking that in. Now the next thing I'll work on is some branches. And I think what I'll do before I make any paint on there, I'm going to make just a few reference lines here. I got some. There are some prominent branches out here. So there's one here. Oh, this one comes from this tree here. This branch comes out here. So I'm gonna make a little pencil line just to give me a little guide. So I won't be going. These kind of come over this way, so I get that feeling. Okay, and then on this side over here is another. This one crosses over. That's a nice way to. These trees are going to be meeting each other, so that's a nice crossover point, connecting both sides. The branches connect. You got this side of the painting, this side, and the branches connect. So I can put that in. And there's some branches going out here. So, okay, that's enough. I just wanted to kind of indicate I can go ahead and paint some of that in. Again, you know, when you're doing plein air, you're trying to capture the feeling and capture the essence. You don't have to have all the details on there. There's too much to look at. Nature is so complicated, especially with trees. I mean, there are thousands of trees and hundreds of branches, and you can't paint them all. It's not necessary. What we need to do is just put down an impression. So this one here, I think I'll train the brush now. I'm going to use the rigger brush. So I'll use the rigger brush here with this mixture I have down here, and let's see, I'll get this one branch in here. A very interesting curve on it. This one kind of meets up here. A little more. And there's another one. I'll put another one in here. This one comes in. Okay, and there's a couple of branches on these over. I can put just a couple indicating there are branches in here. And okay. On the side over here, we got this large branch coming down here. It's a little bit lower. You know, just trying to use my reference here. This comes down. This is going to cross over here. I've got another one coming down here. And this is coming down this way. There's a big old branch coming down this way, this area. And then there's branches over here on this side. They're just indicating those lines. Lines are very important in art. They give you direction, and they also give you a feeling of dimension. And they connect different parts of the painting, different areas. Okay. Now at this stage, you know, things look a lot messy, but you know, this is normally what happens. You want to just get started, and you can always go in and make changes as you go along. The watercolor is very, to me, very adaptable. You can make a lot of changes as you go along. I'll make these just a little bit darker along here in some places. Emphasizing different sections. This one here is a little bit bigger branch coming down. So emphasize this one here a little bit. That's the main branch coming over. And there's another one down here. There's another one down there. Just kind of emphasize a little bit more on these branches, just to give a little more character. And over here, make these branches a little bit sturdier. Give them a little more structure. All right. Okay. I think I've pretty well got the ingredients I want here now. Okay. So I'm going to put that aside. Okay, now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those tapes in there. They're going to protect some of the light coming through for the sun, and we'll see how that works out at the end. You can always modify. And I think what I'll do though, to get started, I've got, you know, I mentioned the dot spray bottle with the water in it, but now I also have I also have water. I also have a palette in a bottle with this has got the dot sprayer on. This has got the dot sprayer on top, but it's a fine mist that I have. But you can interchange the lids here. Now here's one here. Here's a fine mist lid. They've got the black top. That's a fine mist lid or top, and but this white top is your dot sprayer. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a couple. So what you do, you prime the pump. Make sure, and then I'm going to just hit this thing. Now I'm going to protect my my photo too. I don't want to splatter it, but I want to just put a little, maybe some dots up here, just to give me some ideas. I'm going to splatter with this dot sprayer. Just going to get some leaves in there. I say, just kind of play around with a pattern. And again, this is so abstract that it doesn't matter. But it's going to give me a feeling for where I want to go with this, and it's also going to leave some of the light areas that I want to leave light. And up at the top, it's going to have leaves up there. There's leaves over here along the bushes. I'm just kind of playing with a spray bottle, and just a dot spray is a light tapping motion, and that brings out the paint. And I can put it just about where I want to. I can make some of them bigger, some of them smaller, but I don't want to get too carried away. I just want to have just a little splattering here of paint. It's a little more control than splatter technique with a brush. This gives you a little more control. But you can see there, it's giving me a nice little pattern of what I want to see. And then I can leave, I can put the detail in with the brushes, which is what I'm going to do. And down here I can put some on here on these little bushes down here. You can see I can control the location where I want to put it. Just a light tapping motion, and I can put that dot just about wherever I want to put it. Okay, just splatter it all over the place. Okay. Now I know there's going to be a lot of branches, a lot of greens in here, but this is the wrong color. It's not going to be. You know what? And I can also put this down here on the pathway, because I'm going to have a little bit of green down here, a little light green in this area. So the pathway is the whole thing I'm painting today is the pathway. That's really the emphasis right here. Here's my impact area right here, my focal point, this section right in here. Okay, and then I have some other colors I don't think I need any more colors in there, but I brought some other colors along with me just to have an idea. I had some yellow. I may use that for the area I want to put the sun. So I may use this or the white area when I take off the top. I might use this in there. It's okay. But I can put a little bit of yellow down here. Again, I prime the pump, and I can put that yellow down here on my pathway. That's going to be brighter. And I can put some yellows up here with a little yellow up here mixed in with that green, because there are some of the branches are getting hit by the sun, so I can put a little bit of light up in there. So when you add yellow to a painting, you're adding light. You're painting light. Okay. And now I'm getting carried away. I just love it. I love to play with the spray bottles. So I'll put those away, and I'll clean up my mess here. Put that away. Put this back. See, I splattered my picture. I'll put that back up there. Now, I always have a towel in my hand. Oops. And what I can do here is pick up the while it's still wet. Pick up the drips. Pick up the drips. Because see, I've got the paper at an angle, so the paint's going to run down when you have a spray or a light paint in your brush. It's going to run down, which is okay. It's going to be. Now I'm going to let that dry a little bit. So I'm going to take a little break here, and let's let that dry, and I can go back and put some more detail. Okay, we're back. Let it dry a little bit. Also, I patted some of those drops. I want to take off some extra water, so I'm taking a napkin. Always have a bunch of napkins with you. And kind of taking up some of that excess moisture. If I was in a studio, I'd use my hair dryer and dry it down. But here I'm just taking off the excess moisture. Okay, I'm going to get to the next step, which is adding some leaves. This will be more or less the final step, except for the shadow pattern. So first thing I'll do is mix some color. I'm going to use the 3/4 inch flat brush, and I'm going to mix some darker color greens. So I started with that green, a little bit of hooker's green. That'll get me started. And I'll put ultramarine blue with that. Now, if you really want to darken up a color, add a little bit of blue to it. But now I'm going to add some complement. And here I have a alizarin crimson in my palette, so I'll take alizarin crimson. Now that'll really darken it up. You see, already almost makes it black, and I like that. It'll have a greenish color to it, but it'll be dark. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put in. I think I'll start over here with the branches here. I'm going to put in some of those branches. And I'm going to leave lots of white showing because there's sun coming through. So I'm going to leave a lot of things there showing. And I've got a branch. I got the sun in my eye right now, but so I'm kind of using my photograph here to help me a little bit. But look, when I look up, the sun is shining so brightly, and I'm squinting. This is This is the top areas. Now here, because it's a evergreen tree, a pine tree, I'm trying to leave some edges there. It'll indicate the shape of those needles. So I'll take the edge of the brush, just kind of tickle the edge of my paint here to give me a rough edge, trying to simulate those pine needles that are on those branches. And I can come over here on this side, and I've got a lot of light coming in through over here, so I can leave some light showing. Coming down here to the bushes here now. These bushes cover a lot of things up, so come down here, I'll leave some things, cover that up. Trying to get the shape here of the tree line, and also the bushes and so forth. And when I take the tape off here later, I'll have a little bit of touching here of the sun coming through. In the meantime, okay, so I'm just kind of dabbing here, just dabbing strokes, trying to vary the strokes a little bit, just give me a little texture. This is a plein air painting, so I'm just trying to capture the shape, the essence. If I was doing this in a studio, I might be doing it a different way. I might be dry it more. But here I'm just trying to capture the scene. Over here I got a big bushes over here. There's lots of little lights coming through, so I can leave a lot of yellow shining through, which is the sunlight. So I'm really trying to capture that sun coming through the trees. That's the real story here this morning. Is this sunlight coming through the trees and giving a nice little shadow pattern on the ground. Okay, now as I come down here, trying to indicate here, there's a little break here in the tree line, and so I'm carefully going to. This is the major story here, the path, this path of light coming through. Okay, and what I think I'll do here is I'm going to take a little bit of this area here. I got this still wet, so I'm going to take a little bit of this off, because this is really bit of this is where the grass starts here. So I'm going to take it out. It's still wet. Okay. I think I'll work a little bit. Try to finish this foreground. It's just indicating I got a shadow. So use a little bit of lighter green. This is green number 1, and I'll put that down here. Green number 1. This is the grass down here, kind of the foreground here. That shadow pattern coming through the trees. And over here across the way, I've got grass down here. Okay, now Roadway itself is a little bit darker than what I had. So here's the mix I already had. I already had a gray up here, and I had a burnt sienna mixed in a little bit of ultramarine blue. So now I'm going to paint the shadow pattern now coming down. On this little roadway here in the front, so that's a little bit darker. And over here, there's a shadow coming down from the trees. I'm going to make that up a little bit. I can leave that line across there as the edge of the road, so it might be a little interesting. I'll leave that in for right now. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the tape off what I put in here. It'll be white paper, but I can go ahead and put in some color now to really make the sun pop through there. Pick up, grab an edge of the tape, pull that off, and this one over here. Yeah, it'll give me some highlights here that I can put in with the sun. Okay, all right. So what I'll do there, I'm going to take that spray bottle. This is my Plein Air dot sprayer with this is yellow lemon paint in there. What you do with the spray bottle, you put water in there, but you mix it up with about an inch of paint from the tube, and you shake it up. And this is the dot sprayer, Plein Air dot sprayer with yellow lemon in it. Okay. And what I'll do here is I'll spray this section right here. I'll put a little bit of yellow in there. Put some more over here. Okay. And what I'll do is take my brush. Always make sure your brush. I've been playing with this brush here with the brown in it. Make sure it's clean. Because I'm going to go in here with this yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and put in move that around a little bit. So I applied the paint with the spray bottle, and now I'm just kind of spreading it out a little bit. Okay. And that'll be the light area over here, and that'll be a light area over here with some white showing. Okay. Now I gotta let that dry. The thing in plein air is you have to wait for the paint to dry, because it's you just painted on it, so you have to let it dry a little bit. But it's gonna be an impressionistic painting, as far as I can. Now right now it's looking pretty good. I mean, I've got the shapes in there. I can work a little bit more on texture, a little more on detail. And I think I'll do that, but in the meantime, now you can see the scene has changed right now on location. The scene has changed a little bit, but I still got that pathway coming in there, and the trees and so forth. So I'm really my reference now. I'm just trying to clean up what I've done, and I kind of forget. I just want to look at the final. I'm going to let the painting talk to me now. So after I blocked it in and so forth, now I'm going to just let the painting talk to me what I need to do. And let's see. I'm going to add just a little more detail around that, and I think I'll use the round brush. I mean, I have several brushes. I mean, I can use a bristle brush. I can use this smaller brushes and so forth. I'm trying to just sticking with the ones I have. So I'm going to take that dark mix of green again. Now here's my final little details. Okay, mix that dark green, and I'm going to go in now, and I'm going to add around this area here. The only detail I want to get little textures on that tree line. So there's little light and dark areas, so adding a little more paint on top of what's there, that'll give me that shadow, especially around the trunks and so forth, where the leaves cross over, and filling in a little bit of the white areas, a little bit of the light areas. And right now on the edges here, I'm trying to give a little more detail now of the edges of these branches. Just indicating that, I know what a pine tree looks like and so forth. Now down here I want to get a little bit darker, especially along the bottom here where it meets the grass. It is much darker. There's shadow here, so I want to emphasize that. And I want to work on this. This area right in here. I want to work on this edge that I want to get a little more detail on. Don't need as much here. And it needs to be a little darker over here also. As you're painting along, the sun moves, the light moves a little bit. I think, the scene changes, but you want to kind of stay with your basic plan. Even though the sunlight may change on you, the shadows may change on you, kind of get that in your mind before you get too far along to how you're going to finish up, and follow through with your plan. Hey, use the reference, as much as possible. In there, up around this section. What I'm going to do here, as far as the background, I'm going to hint a little bit of light bluish green back here as a background color. There's some trees behind, so I'm going to kind of indicate that. So there is a background here behind these row of trees and bushes. I'm going to try and indicate that a little bit. There's a little background there, a little edge, there's the edge of a road over here behind these bushes. Trying to indicate that. So there's a light area, there's some light trees behind me, and then just leave that alone. Okay. The only thing else I want to do is also, now while the paint is still wet, what I can do with a dot spray bottle, the pound bottle dot sprayer, with just water in it. Now while it's sitting here, I just put wet paint on it. Now what I do now is just take a few drops, and what this does, this will break up some of that paint I just put on there, but it'll give it a little more texture to what I've done, and get that paint to flow around just a little bit more, make it nice and wet. And give it the final touch. And what I'll do now is I'll wipe up. While it's still wet, it's easy to wipe up as soon as it's still wet. And just take a towel, paper towel, and just wipe that off over here. If it looks a little rough, I mean, we're working in nature, so it's going to have a rough look anyway. Okay. I think I'm going to stop there. It's got to dry. It's really wet now, but when it dries, maybe. And I'm going to close this video out. The only thing I want to do, though, and I promised myself I'd do that, is go back in here. I want to emphasize some of these branches. So I'll take my rigger brush again, and I'll take that dark mix of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Give me a dark brown. And load up that brush. And now I can go in here now and emphasize some of these branches. Okay. Now it's still wet, but I'm going to still put it in there. Just to emphasize that. Well, it's still wet. Sometimes you take a little risk, but that's the fun part about watercolor, about painting, is you take a little risk, and sometimes you'll get a surprise. Things will work out a lot better than you think, and just have a good time at it. Here I'm going to make this branch a little bit darker. These branches here come off this tree. And this section in here, make it more interesting. I've got, maybe I'll make a branch coming across here, and coming down, and maybe I'll put one over this way. Try to make that a little more interesting there. Okay? And over here, the same thing. I'll make this a little darker in here. Cover that up. All right, so those branches look a lot better in there. Okay. And you know, you could play with this for a while. If I was here for a little longer, I could just play. But I want to finish the film up. So I'll wipe up a little bit of this wet paint down here, smooth this out just a little bit more, make the grass look a little more like grass, make it more flat, make it different from the bushes. Shadow pattern. And there'll be a little reflect, a little bit of green on the brush is okay. It gives them a little. There'll be a light. The colors reflected all over the place. There'll be green in the shadows. There'll be yellows in the shadows, the different colors. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. So there's my plein air painting today of the, we'll call it sunlit pathway coming through the trees. Sunlit pathway. And I had a lot of fun. I tell you what, plein air is a lot of fun. Okay, I showed you a couple of extra techniques today.